next song in the album, Because I Languish for Love, really reminded me as I'm reading the lyrics and reading sort of a little bit more about how the song came about. You have an absolute love affair with the written word and poetry. Like you are intensely and passionately in love with the written word, and that comes through in this song so well.
And I like ancient written word.
Yes.
And not only just because, it's ancient and cool and all that kind of stuff. I just like the sound of it. I like how, in the 15th century, they flip their verbs and their tenses around. It just sounds different. And there's something about that that kind of unsettles us. And so you can hear something in a different way. And someone once said that, it's like, you get lifted off the earth rotates under you, and then you get put back down again and you're in a different spot. And language can do that. Language can kind of take you out of same old, let the earth revolve, let your truth, which is a phrase I hate, by the way, my truth, but in a sense revolve, and then set you down so you can see something in a new way. So that's the nice thing about approaching, and this particular song comes from an ancient poem that we don't know who the author is. But it does that. It tells a familiar story in a new way. I just like it.
Yeah. And I love the reverence with which you approach these ancient texts. In the first program, we talked about, that reverence that we have of the vinyl when we put, an album on, and we're very gentle. It's precious.
Yeah.
And I sort of see your approach to using these texts in a song, that you treat those words with that reverence. It's precious, and you don't want to break it. You don't want to mess it up.
Right.
But you want to listen to it, and you want to enjoy it, and that's kind of the journey you take us on.
But you also want to nurture it. You want to give it life. There's a certain way that you hear. It's like a baby that you want to feed. So that it can live a little bit. And there's something about also taking things from ancient days and allowing them to have a new life by recasting it. And so here's an ancient poem. Not only has it been translated out of its original language, I'm actually translating the translation into maybe less archaic language to tell a story that's ancient, but it's still new. And this baby gets to live another year, right? Like it's just,
wonderful.
And I get to be part of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a great song, and it's a great literary journey. So let's take it together. Because I Languish for Love.
In a valley of this restless mind, I sought in vale and meadow. True love it was I hoped to find, but only there found sorrow. I heard a voice under a tree, and there a man lay wounded. See now, he said, how my heart bleeds, because I languished for love. I saw his heart's blood bleeding, a noble prince under that tree, with gracious face revealing such love for she, his sister, who he could not bear a parting. For her he suffered prodigally, because he languished for love. Because he languished for love. Because he languished for love. For her he suffered prodigally, because he languished for love. I crowned her with celestial bliss, though crowned with thorns was I led her to a lover's cliff, she led me there to die. Why love the one whose love runs cold, begets the puzzle query? She failed to make my love her foe, because I languished for love. Because I languished for love. Because I languished for love. She failed to make my love her foe, because I languished for spouse. What prizes comfort ever? In trials do I fully reign, more fully than in pleasure. In weal and woe I'm ever there. Dear heart, do not deny me. Your prize is fixed unto my death, because I languish for love. Because I languished for love. Because I languished for love. Your prize is fixed unto my death, because I languished for love. Because I languished for love. Because I languished for love. Your prize is fixed unto my death, because I languished for love.
Because I Languish for Love, that is off of Steve Bell's latest album, Wouldn't You Love to Know? And we're talking with Steve, and we've been talking about just sort of how that song came about, because there's translations after translations after translations. How did you get to what we just heard?
Well, my friend Alana Lewandowski, who's a Canadian singer-songwriter, who I admire her work greatly, she found this poem and wrote a song to it, or wrote a song to parts of it. It's a longer poem, and I heard it online or something. I think she posted it on Facebook, and I just loved it. And I think I called her and asked her, where did you get that from? And she told me that it's this ancient poem. And so I went online, looked at it. And so you have the original poem, then you have a translation of it, which is fairly archaic. And I loved the story, the plot line of it. I loved everything about it. It was a bit too archaic. And I thought I'd like to take for fun, just take a stab at a more contemporized version that has some of the feel of the archaic romantic language, but is a little bit more palatable to the modern ear. So I did my own little translation, and then somehow in there struck me that particular line, because I languish for love, is singable. That sings.
I love that you said you did it for fun. You are the only person I know who would do a translation like that for fun.
Well, it's like, to me, I mean, my wife loves to puzzle. Like, who loves that? Who puts a puzzle together for fun? Well, I'll tell you who. Nancy does, and she does it for relaxation. And so I join her from time to time, and I don't really like it. I like being with her when she's enjoying it.
Okay.
And so that's my appeal, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, I do like that kind of a thing. It's something to do for fun. It's like puzzling.
Oh, it's
Can I do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very interesting outcome from it. And I just love it because, again, it's so reverent to the original text that I think that's really sweet.
Right.
Yeah. And there's, again, I feel like I learned something by listening to the song. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
If I can point out a little nuance in that, people are going to want to go back and listen to that. There's in the woman that sang the background vocals. Mm-hmm. Why can't I think of her name? Sheena Ratai, I think is Ratai. Is that how you say her last name? Anyways, I know her. I'm sorry, but there's this thing that she does, this high harmony thing actually in there, which is actually a little gift to my wife. It's the kind of background vocals that you'd hear on a Dean Martin album.
Okay.
And I remember when we were doing the background vocals, my wife loves Dino. All things Dino.
Oh,
and
my.
when we were recording this particular song, which is a love song,
Yes.
and I remember it occurred to me, I wonder if we could do this. And I asked her if she could sing this part. She did. And so that's like a little Valentine's gift to my wife, Nancy.
You are a very smart man. Yes. the homage to the wife. Yes. Very smart man.